Welcome class 9. This is Vijayalakshmi ma'am and today we'll be doing the second lesson from Moments Adventures of Toto. First, let us know something about the author, Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond was born on 19 May 1934. He is an Indian author of British descent. He lives with his adopted family in Landor, Mussoorie, India. The Indian Council for Child Education has recognized his role in the growth of children's literature in India. He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1992 for Our Trees Still Grow in Dera, his novel in English. He was awarded the Padma Shri in 1999 and the Padma Bhushan in 2014. His first book was The Room on the Roof. He has written other books like The Blue Umbrella, Rusty the Boy from the Hills, Roads to Mussoorie, The Kite Maker, Perfect Murder, and many short stories. What is the story about? This is an interesting story. The narrator's grandfather was fond of keeping different kinds of pets. One day, he bought a monkey from a Tonga driver for 5 rupees. Its name was Toto. It was a mischievous small monkey. At first, his pranks were amusing. The family members enjoyed these pranks. But with the passage of time, his mischiefs became wilder. He broke many things in the house. At last, grandfather realized that he could not keep Toto at home any longer. So, he sold Toto back to the Tonga driver for 3 rupees. Keeping pets is a very popular hobby. However, when one has a baby monkey as one's pet, the experiences are bound to be very different. The Adventures of Toto describe humorous episodes related to a mischievous pet monkey and the failed efforts made by its owners to give it a comfortable home. So, what is the theme of the story? The story is based on the experiences of people who keep animals as pets. The theme thus deals with the outcome of the interaction between humans and animals. It shows that not all animals can adapt themselves to the human way of life. It requires a great deal of patience and skill to train animals to acquire non-destructive behavior. The theme deals with the experience of having a wild animal as a pet. The narrator's grandfather brought home a monkey called Toto, as he felt pity for the monkey. But the monkey created a lot of trouble for its owner, and finally he had to get rid of him. But we should respect animals and keep them in comfort. The experience of an animal lover is depicted in the story. The title, The Adventures of Toto, indicates directly at the central theme as well as at the protagonist. The story is about Toto, the pet baby monkey, and his numerous adventures. Of course, the title does not clarify who or what is Toto, but it does rouse the curiosity of the reader, which is one of the characteristics of a good title. In short, the title is suitable for this story. Grandfather bought a monkey called Toto from a Tonga driver. Since the monkey is a wild animal, it is not suitable to be kept as a pet. Toto was a naughty monkey. All the time he kept creating problems for others. The moment Toto entered the house, he started damaging the house and other things. He pulled out the pegs, tore wallpapers, and Arthur's blazer. He never let other animals live in harmony. He proved to be an expensive deed. So, since the lesson describes the adventures of Toto, the title is appropriate. Through this story, the writer tends to convey a message that baby animals look cute and we are tempted to keep them as pets. However, we should not get carried away by their prettiness because each animal has its own characteristics. Some animals, like monkeys, are very mischievous. They can cause a lot of damage if one is not careful with them. So, one should not keep animals as pets unless one has adequate information and skill to train and handle them. However, animals thrive better in their natural habitat. The story conveys the message that we should love animals. We should also treat them with respect. Grandfather sees the monkey with a Tonga driver. He wants to keep the monkey in his zoo in comfort. So, he buys the monkey and keeps it as his pet. But being a wild animal, the monkey creates a lot of trouble, and grandfather decided that the monkey would be happier with the Tonga driver. Grandfather treats Toto with love and concern. So, this lesson gives a message about animal rights and animal welfare. Let's move on to the story. The narrator's grandfather had a private zoo. He bought a baby monkey from the Tonga driver for 5 rupees and added it to the zoo. This new pet was called Toto. He was a pretty monkey with bright and mischievous eyes. He was so naughty that he would frighten people by showing his white teeth. He had dirty hands with quick fingers and he would use his tail as his third hand. Toto looked cute, but his presence was kept a secret from the narrator's grandmother because she did not approve of any new additions to the already existing pet. Now, you would do the same, wouldn't you? Consequently, Toto was put in a closet opening into the narrator's bedroom wall and was tied to a peg fastened into the wall. However, the naughty monkey did not stay there for long. He tore off the ornamental wallpaper and pulled out the peg. He also tore the narrator's school blazer in shreds. Grandfather was so fond of Toto that instead of being angry, he was pleased with the destruction. Just imagine. He said that Toto was so clever that if he had got more time, he would have tied the torn pieces of the blazer to make a rope and used it to escape from the window. What a funny way of seeing things. After this, Toto was put in a big cage in the servants' quarters. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel, and the narrator's pet goat already lived peacefully over there. But the mischievous monkey troubled all these animals at night and did not let them sleep. Grandfather decided to take him to Saharanpur with him, where he had to go to collect his pension. The narrator could not accompany his grandfather on this trip. A big black canvas kit bag was used to carry Toto to Saharanpur from Dehradun. Some straw was put at the bottom of this bag to make it comfortable. The bag was strong enough to prevent Toto from escaping or getting his hands out. So, when he tried to come out of the bag, he could only make it roll about on the floor and jump with it into the air. This fine sight drew the attention of onlookers at the Dehradun platform. On reaching Saharanpur, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag and grinned widely at the ticket collector when grandfather was producing his ticket. Imagine the surprise the ticket collector would have had. The collector initially got a shock, but after regaining his composure, asked grandfather to pay for the animal. To the annoyance of grandfather, the ticket collector referred to the monkey as a dog. Grandfather made an attempt to convince the collector, but had to finally pay 3 rupees as fare for Toto. Irritated, grandfather took out his pet tortoise from his pocket and asked the collector to charge for it as well. Funnily enough, the ticket collector examined the tortoise closely and said that there were no charges to be paid since that pet was not a dog. Finally, Toto was accepted as a pet by the narrator's grandmother, and he was given a comfortable home in the stable. He was to stay there with the family donkey, Nana. However, on the first night of his stay, Toto hung onto the donkey's long ears with his sharp teeth and never ever became friends with him. Toto used to love hot water baths in winters. His bath ritual was a sight. Grandmother would give him a large bowl of warm water, and Toto would first test its temperature with his hand. Then he would step into it gradually, one foot after the other. He would sit comfortably with water up to his neck and rub soap all over himself with his hands or feet. When the water would cool down, he would run out quickly and reach the kitchen fire to dry himself. In case anyone laughed at him during this act, he would get hurt and refuse to take a bath. One day, Toto almost boiled himself alive while trying to bathe. What did he do? He saw a large kitchen kettle left on the fire to boil for tea. He removed the lid and found the water warm enough for a bath. He got in with his head sticking out from the open kettle. A little while later, the water began to boil and Toto raised himself and sat down again since it was cold outside. He hopped up and down many times till grandmother came and took out a half-boiled Toto from the kettle. Now, that was a very mischievous thing to do, right? Toto's monkey business continued, and it was decided that he would no longer be kept a pet. This happened when he was caught stuffing himself with rice, that is pulao, laid at the table at lunchtime. Grandmother screamed at him when she saw this. Toto threw a plate at her and a glass of water in the face of one of the aunts who tried to shoo him away. On grandfather's arrival, Toto picked up the dish and got out to sit in the branches of the jackfruit tree. He stayed there all afternoon and ate slowly till he finished all the rice. Then, to irritate grandmother, he threw the dish from the tree, thus breaking it into pieces. The middle-class family of the narrator could not afford these frequent losses. So, grandfather sold him back to the Tonga driver for 3 rupees, thus incurring a loss of 2 rupees. Of course, this is not taking into account of all the damages that he had done. I hope you enjoyed the story, children. The story must have had a very sad ending for the grandpa, but it must have been a great relief to the others when Toto had left the family. Don't you think so? This video was brought to you by your English ma'am, S. Vijayalakshmi.